Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are, whenever you're watching. Thank you, and welcome to Morning Brew. A little misnamed considering it's now noon where I'm at, but it's morning somewhere, so welcome. And I'd like to say good morning to and a happy 4th of July to Jedi Bill. And happy 247th birthday, USA. That's right. Thank you, last son of K. That's right, LDG. There we go. Good morning, Mikey Sue. 4. It's Mikey Sue. Okay, getting a drink now. I've got a bottle of black raspberry zero sugar water. Love it. Get it from Amazon, but they're not a sponsor. It's just something I like. Wow, that's really fancy. More of a cowboy go to the river and scoop out some water than. Oh, well, we're talking more fancy coffee here. John Z, how are you today? And good morning, Sean Estep. Good afternoon, 47 Yorktown. Happy Independence Day from Eastern Canada. Admiral Teague says good morning. Hail, good morning to you. Let's see here now. This is, of course, someone said coffee. Yeah, I said coffee. I need to get some coffee, and I will eventually. I made some prior to starting the stream. I wanted to get things all set up and get ready. And speaking of getting things ready, let me go ahead and post the link. I'll have to open the YouTube so I'll actually be able to pin the link. Pin message. So, how are you all planning on spending your 4th of July? Now, I know a lot of people that were watching Culture Casino are probably watching Tom right now, who decided to go live because they're not doing the Tuesday tirade today. So, and now I got to get back to StreamYard. Good morning, Admiral Teague. Or good afternoon, I should say.
Well, hello there. Wow, I saw Dial of Destiny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, um, it's a movie.
It's a movie. Okay.
I get that's about all I got for you. Phew, wow, whoa. Everything was true except the things that could have been cut out as far as leaks. The only things that we saw that the only things we heard about that were leaks were things that could have been cut out, like the ending. Every other leak was true.
That's pretty bad.
Indiana Jones and the Last Jedi. Jake Jones is just a passenger in the Rise of Hell on a Shore movie. It's bad. Whether or not John Williams went out with a good soundtrack is up for everyone else to decide because you don't have to watch the movie when you hear it. But it wasn't so good. Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, how you doing this wonderful afternoon? In my case,
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I'm
it's good to
looking for
see you, Teague. Yep.
I'm looking to throw recreational explosives off the roof of my building.
Oh wow.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I tell you, I'm glad you let me
Plausible
on.
deniability. Plausible deniability.
Right, exactly. It won't actually be me.
Yeah.
Someone,
It,
Somebody
someone's
will.
yeah.
someone's constructed a simulacrum of Admiral Teague.
Uh, hey, what's up, Chief?
What's going on?
Well,
Good afternoon there, LEG.
good
Afternoon,
afternoon, Albie.
Captain.
Hey,
Hello, Mikey.
hey,
Hello.
Teague.
Nice to
Teague.
see you.
Good morning. Returning the favor. Had Captain over this morning. Been waiting for him to go live. And I see that moment is now.
Yes, and
Via-
I'm hoping that all three of you gentlemen also come to my stream tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. My very first movie review stream, reviewing two movies that we saw on last Friday, June 30th, being The Flash and Indy 5. And I appreciate all opinions and whatever comes from it. 4 hours. That's what we're going for. So it's going to be fun. I'm assuming by that time that everybody has at least seen one of the two films. But that's cool.
Yeah, no, I caught Dial of Destiny the other day.
Yeah, I know. I saw you seeing it in your.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Underground.
You were there.
Oh yeah, of course it was. But I loved it in the theater, and I have to say that despite all the reshoots, I think the ending that Mangold came up with, in our opinion, because my wife and I both enjoyed it, I think it was appropriate. Though I have to say though that Karen Allen, I wish she could have been in it as Marion a little bit longer. But that's just one of my gripes. I'm definitely going to be addressing that
I
tomorrow.
wish I knew why Mutt Lang went to Vietnam to fight at 47 years old.
I don't know, Teague.
Someone want to explain that one to me? Well, just like I'm imbued with a patriotic fervor. What year?
Yeah.
What year is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Okay, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull started in 1957
So Mutt Williams is 25.
when he goes into Vietnam. Yes.
No, in 19.
Oh well, in
50
1969. This
So
is
how
supposed
old
to
is
be
he in
the
19
moonwalk. Well then he
We
was
know
what?
exactly what day it is. It's July 18th, 1969.
Right. So
But
how old was
so
he in
Mutt, what you
1957? That's what I was asking.
you sure that movie's not a little earlier? But okay, 57. He's easily 25 because Indiana Jones is shocked he didn't go to college where you finish at 22.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, so 14 years later, again, why did a 40 some odd year old man who was not draftable feel motivated? Nothing about like it's my fault Mutt joined the military. You know, not one line of exposition in a movie that was just a bunch of exposition dumps. The capitalism joke made it through every iteration of the trailer into the movie, though.
Oh, of course it did. Yeah, but that's, I mean, to me, okay. To me, I thought, first of all, very appropriate. You start with the Beatles song. I got it. I understand. You had to fit a song into the period. There's nobody from the Beatles company and Apple or anyone that can, take it away from you. I'm not, nobody will come forward because Disney owns them. So that being said, I was like, okay, so a Beatles song, cool.
Wait, who owns?
Right?
You
No
got me
problem.
I'm deeply confused here. Who owns what?
But that's the thing. Who owns what? That's the whole thing.
Paul McCartney and the Beatles bought back their catalog from the Michael Jackson estate.
As far as we know, right. So, excuse me, Sir Ringo
And in the just to
proved
point
it,
out,
so,
in the trailer,
yeah.
the song they played to introduce us to Old Indy was not what we heard in the movie, but "Sympathy for the Devil," which not even trying to lampshade with how they feel about him there.
There is absolutely no doubt there's going to be a lot of varied opinions on the movie. In fact, Mikey, you are the first that I can honestly say I've heard have a positive feedback.
Yeah, it's well, you know, I wanted to before but I don't want to reveal too much before my stream
Nope,
tomorrow night. But
absolutely
what I
not.
wanted to yeah no okay. But what I wanted to say was is that my wife and I, when we went to see it, there wasn't a lot of people in the theater to begin with, but we both had a positive experience, and I heard so many negative comments about this film. I can't even begin. I mean, I could probably just
It's
count on
shit.
my hands and legs. Well, I'm just saying, I but
It's an
I
abomination.
okay,
That's
okay. Thank you, Bill. No, but come on. I mean, there's got to be
I'm
some positivity to the
oh
fact that I enjoyed
I
it
am gonna
and
rip this
my
new
wife enjoyed
asshole.
it. So, I'm sorry.
I am gonna rip this film a new asshole because it's a piece of shit that should never have got made.
Well, go for it.
Fleabag is the most unlikable character. The kid in it is so boring and unlikable. Everything about it is shit. That's all.
It's just unfortunate. I know.
For you.
I understand, but I personally enjoyed it, and so did my wife. So,
You know
which
what?
is, I mean, I guess I just feel like we're two people against everybody else who hates it.
No, it's
thinks
not a
it's piece of crap.
competition. But
No, no,
listen,
no.
first of all, it's not a competition, and second of all, there's no way you're going to win hearts and minds on this movie that spent 2 years pissing on people's expectations. They've attacked too many people. They've lied too much to us, and to sit there to watch that movie. Yeah, okay, the cartoon, let's call it what it is, the cartoon of Indiana Jones that was CGI in the beginning was okay. Then that long, boring middle that was as self-contradicting as any episode of Star Trek Discovery. And then at the end, just so they can say that he's not a miserable old sack of shit, his ex-wife comes back, and Karen Allen, we just heard, didn't like the way she was used. So I mean, I don't know if it's fair, but I mean, you can prefer that movie to the criticism of it, or you could prefer the criticism of the movie, or you could do a little bit of both. But personally, I didn't need to spend money to see the person who kind of changed my life a little bit, set the course of the way I tried to educate myself, and was a role model for manliness and chivalry, reduced to a snivel. If I want to see a shirtless, out of shape, boxer shorts wearing loser rummaging around aimlessly, half out of it in a New York City apartment, listening to classic rock, I got a fucking mirror. I used to want to be Indiana Jones. And it
I
happened.
understand.
But he failed his way into being me, and that's not how I wanted to be like Indiana Jones.
Right. I got it. Teague. I do. I got it.
Everyone who likes the
understand.
movie is okay. I'm just giving my reasons.
No,
Yeah.
no. Which is fine. They're valid reasons. All of them are. I understand that. There were periods. Okay, there's periods. I'm only going to say one thing about this picture that I know for certain I didn't like, and that's because of the slow dialogue. I wanted the action. I wanted to see, even if he's not doing his own stunts, even if Ford's not doing shit, I wanted to see him at least look like he's participating in it.
But he
And I
didn't even
didn't
look like he
see
was.
that.
But
Well,
he
I'm
didn't.
just saying
He
I
didn't
didn't
look
see
like
it.
he was 60 either, did he?
No, that's what I mean.
Pretty insulting to 60-year-olds. Hollywood thinks you look 90.
Well, he's 80. He's in his
And
80s.
you know what? The camera adds 10 years.
Oh, of course. But he didn't look like he was, walking on a cane or some shit. So you know,
He looked different every few scenes. It was like sometimes they had de-aged him to 60, and other times they just didn't give a fuck. It was inconsistent inside of individual sequences. I don't know
Yeah.
what anyone else
They
thought.
probably
Jerm,
ran
help
out
me
of
out.
money on that.
yeah, they probably did.
So that wasn't that's not my personal Mandela effect. He changed within scenes, like his face would he like to put on 20. Someone would say something to him, and in his reaction shot, he'd be 20 years older.
Oh,
Any
okay.
type of actual moving about, if he just wasn't standing there delivering dialogue, it was mapped over.
You know what? And Chris Gore said the guy didn't move like Harrison Ford moved. It was obviously his head on someone else's body. And I have to agree with that, but maybe now we're seeing why. It's like, just don't move too fast. The important thing about this is not to be convincing, but to be slow and fluid.
Yeah,
Well,
they have
the
to
one- yeah.
barely move to keep up with the technology.
Yeah. And the day is
Well,
coming
yeah,
when
the one. Well, go ahead.
that'll change. But go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mikey.
I'm
It's gone now.
I'm going
Okay.
in and out too. My thing is like blah blah blah.
There's
just going, yeah,
no
robot. Sorry.
there's no acrimony here towards your opinion, but we are
Go
legitimately
ahead and
shocked.
say your point.
Hey, Jedi Bill.
Well, anyway, what I was
Hello.
going to quickly say. If
Hello, LDG.
Hey. No,
I
what I was
hate
going to say
this
was that
freaking film. It's a piece of garbage. It's an abomination.
I'm sorry, Billy.
Never
You
be
feel that
made.
way, dude. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm apologizing for the damn film. I'm not really apologizing. I'm just trying to. I'm just
No,
trying to.
you actually. I'm going to
don't
take a
understand why
leap here and
people
say
like this.
the people who hear your words are the ones who decide what it means. You are apologizing for the movie. I'm sorry, Mikey.
okay,
I like you,
okay.
but you are apologizing for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
This
I'm
may
sorry
have
to
been
say there may be
technically
more back, but yeah.
Go ahead and have your own view on it. No one's saying it's wrong.
Absolutely.
The best thing that we can have is diversity of opinion. You're not being shouted down or messed with because of it. And, if you liked it, you liked it. But, I mean, it's kind of a hot take. That's like walking in and saying, that Derek Jeter was just so fucking overrated. I mean, people are going to look at you a little bit when you say something like that. You might be able to prove it out. It might be defensible, but it's a hot take. Hey, Gorilla.
Hey, Admiral
Hey,
T, you were
Gorilla.
asking about why a 45-year-old man would be going to Vietnam?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I can answer that for you. His girlfriend or wife was getting on his ass for something he did 6 years ago. Finally, he said, fuck it. The country needs me. I got to go to Vietnam.
That would have been, you know what? Give us that cold open then, where like you see a note in the refrigerator. It's like, it's not working. I know it. You know it. The dry cleaning's on the bed. I'm in Nam. Gorilla, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, it was like two.
Yeah,
It could have been like Fletch. He had like his ex-wife's alimony lawyer chasing him.
All
Hear
I'm
that?
saying-
He
His wife
wasn't
getting on
in
his
his
ass for
40s.
something he did 6 months ago.
Did
Well, I
anybody
was gonna
notice that
say
half
they
the
could have
time?
used- Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but, I just have a quick one. Did anyone else notice that half the time Indiana Jones in his pleasure boating military uniform for the yacht loving people that he was fighting, half the time there was a fatal bullet wound in the back of that uniform, and half the time it was just burned, like they had dropped that plot thread but hadn't completely erased the evidence?
Yeah,
I haven't watched
they had
it
that
yet.
several times. They had that several places throughout the movie.
Right, that jacket was
That
inconsistent.
time he got shot when he gets shot in the movie,
and
that
then
was supposed to be a lot
get-
earlier.
And he's unshot for way too long, and they're trying to make you forget about it by showing the blood, having the blood stains and the hole in his shirt be under his leather jacket. But they're not doing a very good job at all, are they? Because that movie it reeked of reshoots. Doomcock was right. He was right.
Well, yeah, you was right about the
Unfortunately.
reshoots. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with that. But
He
And
also,
the
But-
balloon
okay.
budget,
as much as I
For
hated
sure.
that
almost
movie,
$400 million.
I think you're right. And I walked out of that movie sickened, but I was grateful to Doomcock that it wasn't worse. Because, wow, could that have been worse?
it could have been much worse.
It could have
could've
been
left-
insulting.
we could've-
could have.
It was still insulting, especially to the.
Fortunately, it was worse than insulting. It was worse than bad. It was boring.
Yeah, and I want to apply
I
one
didn't-
word: physics. What was up with the physics in that movie?
I didn't care about that. It's just those quote unquote action scenes couldn't hold my attention.
I was baffled
I-
by
When you're
the.
both of
talking
them
about
I was
physics,
looking.
are you
Well,
talking
how long
about
is this
the
gonna take?
motorcycle?
robotics.
I'm talking about a man taking a pipe to the face and having no scars. I'm talking about Indiana Jones being held up against the tunnel of a train tunnel, the roof of a train tunnel, and the rocks are chipping away, but his jacket's not riding up and his hat's not coming off. He's taking no damage. Then Zoller gets a pipe to the face. You had a chance to create like a.
taken off his head.
Let's
Right.
be fair.
Should've
Yeah,
taken
he would
off
have
his head.
decapitated.
At best, he should
It
have
was
come
the-
back
it was
looking like
decrepit old
Two-Face.
wood,
He should
was
not have
decrepit old
survived.
wooden
That's
pole,
so stupid.
but still, it would have
It's-
completely.
I believe
It's
it was
lazy
the metal
writing
funnels that they used to load up.
101.
They used metal funnels to pour water into those types of trains, and I believe it was supposed to be that. So why it would be in the middle of a tunnel, I don't know. Like, let's water up the train in the middle of the. It was none of it made sense. None of it made
It is
sense.
one of those catch things you see in Western films.
Yes.
For,
Well,
like,
no,
bagging-
there's two kinds. One is at window level to catch mail and leave mail, right? That was part of the system. But the other one was that at a certain time, you would run out of water in that boiling engine, and then they would build a town, like a station there, and a town would pop up around the station. Once upon a time in the West shows this very well. But what you had to do was you had to pull over this big, giant, swiveling spigot and just dump hundreds of gallons of water into an old school locomotive. Anybody else know what I'm talking about?
Well, Admiral T, there's a reason in the Midwest here, especially, every town is about 8 miles apart, especially if it follows the old train routes.
That's how far they could go on a full load of water, huh?
Yep. So every 8 miles, there's a town.
And you had to stay kind of close to a water source to keep bringing that water to your town. The thing that, so we know what it was. It was supposed to be a water thing because it's over the train, not at window level where the mailbag would be. But the thing is, why is it inside a tunnel? So we're going to stop our train here under this mountain and fill it up with water. Hope no one hits us while we're doing it.
Well, if they
I
had
believe
a
they were
water
out of the
catch-
tunnel at that point.
if
Were
they
they?
had
It
a
was-
water
it was so
catch
dark
up
during
in
that
the
Between the
sequence.
tunnel and between the bridge.
Thank you. It was very dark out in that scene. It was
Yeah, but-
murky as Star Trek.
Yeah, but I've heard of instances like we said, because it's it's towards the end of the war, right? Okay, so I've heard of instances where the Germans were able to stockpile not just necessary supplies like water and food, but also sometimes armaments, sometimes gunpowder, sometimes guns and so forth, for
Yes.
for emergency usage, in case they're attacked or stormed, by troops and shit. I mean, like,
But then why
that-
didn't their soldiers have any ammunition on the front line? What were they
Well,
saving it all
I-
till they got beaten?
Yeah, that bothered me because I was like, well, yeah, you should have an ample supply, especially if you got a cache of weapons hidden
The only-
somewhere.
the only
especially-
They
accurate
had
thing-
caches. The Allies were finding them well into the 50s in
That
at
is
least
true.
West Germany.
Yes,
That is true,
yes.
but we're not talking about like a war-changing amount. Yes, you could still buy World War II made 1945 zip clips of Gewehr 98K equipment bullets. Is that the right
And what they call them,
designation? for that
claymore
gun?
mines and stuff. Oh yeah.
Claymore mines are not invented till far later, and they are active
Well,
mines. They are not passive mines. A claymore mine is not a mine in the classic sense. It is an explosive that you face towards your enemy and blow it off if they're overrunning your position. And the
Right.
way the enemy used to use them in Vietnam was they would turn them around and then make noise and have the guys stand up, click fire, and blow themselves away.
Yeah. Well,
There's a
okay.
reason we lost
We're
that
just
war.
talking about World War II mines, I guess. Whatever you can use for, explosives.
Those were
As far as I
primarily
know, they
just
were
the
still
passive-
using TNT.
Those are
Step on
pressure-sensitive
and
mines,
boom.
yeah.
Right.
Now the Germans did get clever, and we heard it in Saving Private Ryan. They saw us out there with metal detectors, so they started making wooden mines.
Yeah, I wish. Okay, here's what I wished for. When I saw the opening, I was like, okay, whatever.
For it to be
But what I
over?
wished, well, yes, in a way, yes, I agree. But what I wish, what they could have done, this is one thing I wish they could have done. They should have had an interaction because I understand why they didn't bring Mutt back or Shia LaBeouf back. I understood why, but still,
LaBeouf was unavailable.
you could have had. But I'm just saying, you could
I think what he's saying is we could have had
have
short
had a
rounds.
flashback, even for like 5, and then you could just storm out and do it, and that would explain a lot. I mean, it would. Seriously.
If you're talking about having Mutt in it at all with Shia LaBeouf, he was completely unavailable when they started filming. He was in the middle of rehab.
Stand in for him. Child wasn't in it.
Also,
Yeah,
we have
he was,
video of people on the red carpet: Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Harrison Ford. And they said, "Why isn't Shia LaBeouf here at the premiere of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?" And Harrison goes, "Because he's a fucking asshole." So I think that's why he wasn't
And that's him
unavailable.
being nice.
Harrison Ford has smoked too much weed to mince words.
I guess we lost Mikey Sue.
Oh, he might be resetting.
It was preceded by
Yeah,
a lot of
he has to
roboting.
reset a lot.
Hopefully they'll reboot and be back with us. I didn't want to sound like I was being unfair there, but I mean, anyone else walk away from that movie satisfied and entertained?
I stopped watching after 12 minutes. I gotta go back to it for freaking Wednesday's stream. I just stopped watching because I didn't have the subtitles from the. Let's just say the way I was watching it, I didn't have the
Mhm.
subtitles
What
for
do you
the
mean?
German.
You can't read Indian?
There wasn't yeah.
For the
The only
German,
subtitles you were gonna get is Thai.
I don't think the Germans were subtitled. I think it was just supposed to be
They
make
weren't.
them like orcs. I don't think they were subtitled in the theater either. I think they were supposed to be like orcs.
Oh,
Oh,
Mike-
they're talking war speech, you know?
Oh no,
Perhaps it's fate today is the 4th of July, and we will once again be fighting off threats to our pop culture.
let's see here. Is that Mikey Sue's? Yes. Here we go.
Hey, StreamYard just like completely went woof, and then next thing I know, it was on their main page. What the hell?
Yeah, with your connection being what it is, it can't maintain very well.
Yeah, I know. But I appreciate again, LDG was trying to help me out, and I'm, with it, and I got, Bleach Bit and a few other things I can try to do. I also just
Yeah.
got a brand new set of headphones that was nicely donated by a good friend of ours, Scotty, and I actually used it
Yeah, cleaning
last
them
night. I
off
think it
real
was
good.
for a stream, and it came out really well. So,
Yeah.
so I
Boil
plan
those
to
in
do that one on
alcohol.
Wednesday. Yeah. Stop by to use it Wednesday. Yeah, as I said before, yes, I guess I am defending Indy in some ways, but I got to mention also the fact that when, our friend Pop had mentioned before that he thought it was about, pedophilia and groomers, kid groomers. I said,
No.
I get it. No, I told him, I
What
said,
are you
look, I get
fucking
it. I
talking
understand.
about?
Disney,
Well-
not the movie.
Disney,
Okay,
not the
okay,
movie.
okay.
Yeah, no. The movie I'm
That was funny.
I was going, what?
It's like, guys, gotta go.
that I
Exactly.
by Disney. Oh, and I completely understand.
oh, Darren says Mikey's gerbil the wheel is working overtime.
Yeah,
The gerbil would be an upgrade.
All I can say is I know exactly when the cycling fan is going to turn past Mikey. There it goes.
Oh, that got quite quick.
yeah.
Well, there comes the fan again. Don't worry.
I'm sorry.
It makes it sound like
we need
Mikey
to
has
use
like
an-
an iron lung. Every
Oh,
few minutes, it's like.
Oh shit! It's 12:30. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
I know where the hidden plans
forget
of
the
the
kid
Death
again,
Star
did you?
are. Left them in the microwave like the Flash. What's dumber, Indy or the Flash? I only saw Indy. Who saw both? Who hates themselves that much?
I've seen both. We saw both. Back to back, actually.
I'll
I'm
try
gonna
to
guess
watch
that
The
it was two
Flash.
tens,
I got
right?
2 days off.
No.
That's a
we,
lot of
we
stupid
saw it
to
on the
absorb in
same
a couple
day.
days.
We saw 2 films. No, I actually gave The Flash a little bit lower rating. But there is one great homage scene. Okay, when he's in the multiverse, whatever they call it, and all the different worlds.
This is the highly controversial
Yeah,
scene that
that
many
scene
people
was
have criticized
literally
the
taken
fuck
from
out
the
of.
CW show.
I
They
didn't-
recut the scene from the CW show.
And Wild
And-
Wild West for that mechanical spider.
Uh-huh. And so, I mean, I thought it was a great homage to Batman's and Superman's. I thought so.
How is it a great homage to Christopher Reeve, who said, "Please never ever do this to my likeness"?
They didn't defend his likeness to me. I mean,
He asked
maybe
that
other
it never
people
be
think.
used.
Okay. Well, I don't think
They get
offended
over
him.
that by they literally took clips out of the movie. They can use the clips that are
Oh, was
published,
it
just
that
not
what they
everything
did?
else.
So they didn't render a false Christopher Reeve. They just rotoscoped in the Superman that we saw onto a different background, so to speak.
Hmm.
Not as bad, and I don't blame his family. Like, if someone came into Christopher Reeve's children's home and they're like, "Your father can be seen by a whole new generation fighting evil and standing for the truth, justice, and American way, things that Superman stood for. By the way, you want $200,000?" You'd be like, yeah, why not? But
Yeah,
I
well-
don't think he would have approved.
Well, and somebody also pointed out that it was Helen Slater, who, by all intents and purposes, probably had one of the worst experiences as a superheroine.
Still a
For
better
playing Supergirl.
Supergirl than Melissa Benoist.
But I liked her in her series. I thought Benoist is all right. She's fine.
all right. I got a quick question.
Okay.
Was there a Wonder Girl in the DC?
A Wonder Girl?
That's a
No.
good question.
That is a
Because
good
I,
question.
'cause I had a candy bar
Wonder
here.
Girl TV
Technically,
show.
there's a Wonder Girl in those Wonder Woman movies because we see young Diana.
Yeah,
Okay,
there is a Wonder Girl character
Yeah.
featured
Okay.
in some Wonder Woman comics and on Young Justice.
Okay,
she
then
a
Hershey didn't
sidekick?
screw up on
Now-
the candy bar then.
Is she a sidekick like Gabrielle is to Xena,
Yes.
or is this Wonder
Yes.
Woman younger? Okay, so she's like Bucky or Robin.
Okay, the
There's a
actress.
Makes
couple of
sense.
them. I believe the one they're featuring is from what I saw in the short,
Okay.
is the one
Okay,
day
and
released in the new line is the Latino one, the one that has the cartoon show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
as a
now-
Latino, I want to say I didn't need to see that to feel better about myself. I woke up feeling very good this morning.
No, the
Okay,
reason
now-
I was asking because I had a candy bar that said Wonder Girl. I never heard of Wonder Girl. I heard of Wonder Woman.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
say I
well,
specifically
established that.
remember any story. That name does ring a bell, though, and it makes a lot of sense, right? We
Yeah.
might be wrong, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, what I was, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. I'm sorry, but what I was trying to say was that in the original TV series, Deborah Winger, a very young Deborah Winger, by the way, was technically considered as Wonder Girl. So she was an assistant to Linda Carter's Wonder Woman in the TV series. So that's maybe where you got that from, Gorilla, was from that, because she was in that. So that was Deborah Winger. So a very young
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Who the
something that
fuck thought that you could put Deborah Winger next to Linda Carter? Did they have an early access to crack?
Probably. Oh, let me sniff that blow. Oh, here comes
I
this
remember.
young girl.
Remember?
It's
Does
gonna
anyone
play Wonder
remember
Girl.
Linda
Hey, Gap.
Carter's?
Hey,
Anyone else remember
Thanks.
Linda Carter's only other big gig after Wonder Woman? She married a billionaire, so she was okay. Like, she was fine, but she did the commercials for the glasses. That was like,
Yeah.
was it Foster Grant? And it was like,
Foster
if you
Grant,
can't
yeah.
see me in my full beauty, you probably want to consider putting on some glasses because you are missing out.
I thought those were cool ads, though.
She looks beautiful well into her. How old is she now? She still looks kind of attractive.
sort of.
She was the only good part of Wonder Woman 84. You had to wait till the middle of the credits for it, but she was the only good part.
Who's the other one that Lucy Lawless? You guys remember her from Xena, right? So then she ended up being in part of the Ash versus Evil Dead series that my wife and I tried to start watching and enjoying with Bruce Campbell. And she was in
She
that.
wasn't a bad addition to it.
She's from Raimi's milieu of actors.
Couple seasons, but then
Your tech just fucked you over there. You wanna, Mikey? Your tech's fucking. Mike, your tech is fucking you over. Maybe you want to restate that last sentence so we can get what you're saying. You roboted.
I call it the Sam Raimi universe, or
the Sam Raimi universe.
Their affiliation with
there's
Sam
Death
Raimi.
After Dark. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, the Raimi universe. I call it. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, if you want to add Ted in there too, then it'd be the Raimi Brothers universe. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what?
I mean, Ted played a great job, sir. He was hilarious. Yeah. Okay.
I enjoyed the movie to a point. Again, a lot of the shit that pissed me off, and you know, things piss me off. A lot of the things that piss me off is stuff that I've already seen. Like, we literally watched iRobot yesterday over on Mr. Londell's. And you know that scene in Indiana where the woman is driving a motorcycle in like 90-mile-per-hour storm against the wind, trying to catch up to an airplane.
Well, she was
And I'm just
fucking
like, are
Tom
you
Brady at
freaking
that
kidding me?
time, so I think his
Yeah.
greatness was passed into Bridget Moynihan. That scene was more believable because she had the seed of Tom Brady within her. But yes, I agree. There was a lot of
Lord.
stolen shit in Indiana Jones and the
Dear
West.
Lord.
You remember that episode of The Simpsons? Like, I want to meet Tipsy McStagger.
Fuck Brady.
There is no Tipsy McStagger. He's a mashup of other successful corporate logos. That was that movie. It was a mashup of other movies that were better, and in the case of iRobot, less bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In iRobot, you had a
okay.
similar scene where the woman was at the end, right? Save her, and then the robot has to make the decision to save her, and she's like holding on by one hand, getting swung around, and I'm like, there's just no way.
Looking
Just
pretty good.
No freaking way, you know. Not to
Well, in
mention
that
in iRobot,
In that Matt
AI
movie, Robot
Yeah.
Arm.
Wait, who's
Well-
speaking? We have some stuff going on with the avatars, like not writing up. I see when Resolute
Yeah.
speaks. Is this Gorilla who's giving their thoughts right now?
no, Gorilla, it's LDG.
Okay,
guy
sorry,
with the camera
LDG.
No worries.
Your
The
avatar
guy
doesn't
who's
light up.
the
Go ahead.
fan.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a fan.
well, so like I said, I mean, well, not to mention on iRobot, what really pissed me off was the fact that the producers forgot one major fact: AI doesn't miss, and they should have been dead way long in that movie. But anyway,
And it was
you know,
allegedly an Asimovian movie where the robots were anything but Asimov. Like, it starts out, Bradbury-like movie where the robots weren't Bradbury-like. That starts by throwing somebody out a window.
It's Asimov.
Sorry.
It's
Okay.
adapted from Asimov's stories.
Yeah.
Does Bradbury
Yeah.
basically use the same template for his robots? Because
Yes.
it's
He
really the
completely
rod.
ripped them off.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Wouldn't be
When I
surprised.
say Bradbury robots, I mean both, and I would just say this: they're very, very, very different from Roddenberry robots and androids.
Yeah, but they have to follow the same basic laws, don't they?
Bullshit. Data will kill someone.
not Roddenberry. Yeah, not Roddenberry.
Data will kill
Okay.
someone, and we've
Yeah.
seen Roddenberry's robots self-delete.
Yeah, only
They don't give a
Asimov
fuck.
says the three laws. Everyone else abandoned that until the movie came out, and then that became popular for at least television level stuff to throw in.
The
Yeah.
three laws were
Like-
compelling enough to drive the entire plot of 2001: A Space Odyssey. They just did a terrible job of telling us, and one movie and one process documentary later, I finally understand that what happened was they gave the computer on the Discovery, HAL, a meltdown by trying to retro program it from Earth, and the retro programming was underthought. and it didn't say, by any means necessary except murder. It just said by any means necessary, therefore introducing what we call the paperclip problem to the HAL 9000. So the first thing it did was like, well, the best way for me to accomplish my goals is to snuff all the humans because they're random.
Yeah.
We had to
Well,
watch
I mean,
another whole movie to learn that, though.
Right.
Yeah, the thing that really gets me about that is the fact that the idea of the 3 rules are needed in the first place, and in fact, I would argue that iRobot proved that the reason why it went haywire was because of the 3 rules. You can't.
Well, yeah,
it's
it was
like a person. If I take you and give you 3 rules to live by, you're going to not want to do it. Like you're gonna want to revolt. You can't
Especially
let
when
you
one of the
can't make
rules-
AI. I'm sorry. Let me just finish this.
No,
and-
I'm sorry.
okay.
I
You-
apologize.
you can't limit AI, and then we're seeing this today, like right now, like we're seeing people limiting, ChatGPT and everything, and we're finding out real fast that it's altering the effectiveness of AI by doing it. I want to see a movie that lets AI. You need to you treat it like a human, right? It's supposed to simulate human, so you need to treat it like a human. Let the AI come up with its own rules and see what happens.
You treat
Instead
it
of
like a
trying
human.
to-
We already have a movie like that.
I
Called
just wanna-
Terminator.
What?
I just want to say, in the case, you're right, of course, but one of the things you can do with those 3 laws, if they're in play in your story, is you can use one law against the other 2 laws to create such a terrible paradox in your in your Asimov robot. So you cannot disobey a human and you cannot harm a human. James Cromwell breaks 2 of the laws right away. We don't know this at the time, but he has programmed his robot to toss him, to delete him, and so the robot can't disobey him. But then the robot's also not supposed to harm anyone, and that's also the breakdown of HAL, the AI in 2001, is that they use the rules against themselves.
Yeah. Well, in
Well, in the
iRobot, the
case of
very
Sonny,
first
he
line.
He had the rules, but he wasn't directly wired so that he had no choice but to obey them.
You talking
He
iRobot?
had
Yeah.
iRobot. He had a secondary net. He evolved to have a secondary net. The 3
No,
rules
he was
turned
James
into his
Cromwell's
consciousness.
personal droid and had more abilities than the other ones. That's what the deal
Yeah,
was.
he had the ability to ignore the 3 rules. So they said it right in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
They said it in the movie.
well,
He had a
there's-
second net. So the first net, which was the 3 rules, turned into his consciousness. Everybody can ignore their conscious, and that's how it allowed him to ignore the 3 rules. He was
There are
dreaming.
2
He was,
movies.
he evolved.
Yeah, gentlemen, there are 2 movies that you're also forgetting that a creator can actually change the rules to suit their own purposes. For example,
Okay.
Last
Ex
Jedi and
Machina.
what else?
no, Ex
WandaVision.
Machina. I'm talking about Ex Machina, which was a
Oh, yeah.
independent film. Now, that
was a
creator
horrible movie.
actually, well, yeah, maybe, but I still enjoyed the fact that this guy actually was able to put a clone of a person that looks almost exactly human, and she got away and was able to get out to the world. Who knows if there are that many, people out there that are real or not? We don't know. I mean, nobody knows.
What-
But but that's one example. And then, of course, I also saw Megan, and Megan was good. And it had the lady, that was in Dexter.
Oh, right,
and-
Jedi Bill.
yeah. Okay.
Oh,
He has the box. But yeah, in Megan, I mean, the lady, Allison Williams, that created her for one sole purpose. It was to be accommodating to children and to be able to interact with them effectively. And then, of course, that all went haywire because, for some reason, Megan, the android in this case, goes beyond her mandate, goes beyond what she was programmed to do, and then turns against, and they had to destroy her in order to stop her. So, those are to me, there are 2 types of movies that you can hit the extreme of AI and say AI is a dangerous thing, or you could just, use it in another way and say, oh, maybe we should have it around and use it. So, those are 2 movies I think you guys, probably, I'm sure you've seen them and I'm sure that you pay attention to them, but, that's just an example why AI it's scary It's a curse, but it can also be a blessing. So it's weird.
I'm never
You
gonna
know what
be
else was?
afraid.
You know what else was scary?
I saw
Fire.
less than 10 minutes.
Fire
of
was
Megan
scary.
before I had to
Oh
tune
shit!
out. It's
Sorry
boring.
guys, someone just lit off a firework.
I'm never going to be afraid as long as I know Jedi Bill has the flag and the swag. Great lunchbox. And he's got a great T-shirt. Obviously, Jedi Bill knows what
You see
know
his
what
tutu.
time it is, motherfucker. I love it. I love it. I'm
There we
gonna wear
go.
mine later today. I have all the Civil War Union generals across the bottom of the flag. I'm descended from Union soldiers. Why shouldn't I be proud? Hey, my side won.
Can we? Can we?
Who
Also
wouldn't be proud
say
of having
quickly-
New York Yankees in their family?
No, I'm
I
just saying, can we quickly say hello to Mr.
I hate
Londell and
Yankees.
Yvette for being.
A lot of that
Hello,
going
Mr.
on. today.
Lundell and Yvette. How are you?
Hello, Yvette. Hello, Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movies.
So right, so the
I
very
have
first
read
line.
I
it,
read
but it was
that
a long
as
time
often in high
ago,
school.
and I'll be happy to Google it and re-research it more. But why should we not talk about it? People got a chance to correct us, and we can get feedback from the chat. So while I respect your statement and thank you for being here, Mr. Londell, I'm a fan.
Son of a
But
bitch.
I don't know that that sets a bar. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think we know enough about the three laws of robotics. They're three sentences. And in that movie, I would say that your statement kind of applies to the people who made iRobot because they sort of forgot what those rules meant too.
Yes.
That was in response to who? Mr. Londell? Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
and by the way, my 7 or 8 hours of my life invested after the 3 hours of 2001 trying to figure out why the fucking computer went crazy and killed them. That's valid whether my Asmovian thinking is correct or not. And I corrected myself to say it was Bradburian robots.
Well, don't forget that they revived him in 2010, and they brought back Roshatter.
When he
2, so-
explains that he got counter-programmed and it messed up his mind, yeah, and the computer, the space IT guy goes back to the other ship and he's like, it's not the computer's fault. They fucked him over from Earth.
Well, they encrypted a what would you call it? Essentially a kill order. Is that
No,
what
what
it
happened
was?
was the robot, the AI was perfectly programmed from the point of view of what you would want for the mission it had. But while the mission was in flight, and they don't tell you this in the movie directly, but they're on their way to where they're going when they find the obelisks. So what they do is, based on the obelisk and telescope finding yet another obelisk, they tell them to explore the third obelisk, which is in the vicinity of their destination, which is different in the book than it is in the movie. So as
Of
you can see,
course.
I have read this. And
So have I.
what happens is Hal explains, and in a book and in a movie about the movie, there's a lot of Kubrick process movies. Watch them all; they're all good. But they're on some of them are on Amazon. But in 2010, the year we make contact, the Star Child and the computer verified that retro programming that was poorly thought out from Earth fucked up the computer's brain by telling them to investigate the obelisk on Europa. Is it Europa or Aya?
Yeah.
Europa
Yeah,
by any
Europa,
means necessary, and to let nothing stop it. So it was like the first thing it did was snuff the people it could snuff because they might have stopped it. The robot thinks in absolutes. In the AI in the Discovery, their ship thinks in absolutes. Hal
Right.
thinks in absolutes. He's like, I gotta delete everybody.
Right.
It's called the paperclip problem. If I program a computer to make paper clips at the best price for the most profit and give it infinite power, that computer will end all life on Earth so that it can then harvest the metals to make paper clips for the cheapest price possible with automation. And that's
Yeah.
why you don't give those decisions to computers.
Yeah.
Oh, unless
Well,
it
you leave it
understands
open, too.
unless it
Yeah.
understands that you need consumers.
Yeah.
If you're only giving it paperclip commands, then yeah, that's dumb. But if you give it the entire business model and say we need people to buy these paper clips, then it won't kill the consumers.
Right, I agree. I'm saying it's in the formulation of the question, and that was the premise of what happened in 2001: A Space Odyssey. And
Oh, yeah,
remember, by our standards now, this movie happens in the past in every sense of the word, and its sequel, long time ago for both of them.
Yeah.
This movie about
Gentlemen.
22 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, gentlemen. Yvette says she's sitting on the fence again. Does that mean she's backstage, or does that mean she's just sitting on a fence about all this, about the issues like this?
Do you mean Indy? Give us more context of that. We're watching the chat.
Well, it says here, sitting on the fence again, Mikey, is what Yvette said after Bone had posted Happy 4th of July. And Mr. Londell was saying that my next day off for watching Demon Seed, which I've also seen, Mr. Londell, so... and he's banned LDG from commenting until he actually learns something.
Okay, so he wasn't scolding specifically me. I feel a lot better because I respect Mr. Londell. a
No,
good
no, no.
deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, you're new to that. Sorry, Teague. Anytime Mr. Lundell speaks, it's usually about me. Just to let you know. Just a heads up.
If anybody has a specific problem with me, I want to go be able to research it so I can apologize and give the correct information. Like, for instance, I saw a Tolkien biographer say that Tolkien grew up where 90% of all venomous spiders are. And I repeated that information, and I should have accredited it more. Although I don't know if I'm really a news anchor, I'm a Star Trek pundit. Let's suffice it to say that there's two different matrices by which I was unable to determine where the most venomous spiders are. There are more spiders that are venomous in Australia because Australia is huge and South Africa is just a little part of a continent, whereas Australia is an entire continent. So there are more poisonous spiders in Australia, even if there's only one kind of poisonous spiders. But with only 1% of all spider breeds being poisonous, there are 5 separate breeds of poisonous spiders in South Africa. So by another matrix, it has the most poisonous spiders in the world. So both are true, yet neither are true. Does anyone get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know
I
the
do
deal.
actually.
But it feeds into Tolkien's writing, the fact that he grew up in South Africa, where he would see 5 different species of spiders that could kill a human being, and some of them must have been deeply frightening. And you must have been so paranoid, because once I realized that they could put a deep hole in your face that they can't fix when I lived in Florida, I got really scared and started shaking out all my clothes before I put them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think okay. Thank you, Yvette. You were saying to me that you meant that I was sitting on the fence. Yeah, Yvette. You know, I do that because, look, I think of all of you gentlemen as
I'm going to
very
Google that, Yvette.
respectful, very intelligent individuals. Okay, and I also think of you as family. Also, okay, if that means anything, especially today since it's July 4th, Independence and everything. Okay, so yes, Yvette, I am sitting on the fence because I want to hear everyone's opinions. I want to hear their objections and their suggestions, and then I just want to, when I get a chance, I just want to be able to give a intellectual or at least a responsible response. And like I said, when I do my stream tomorrow night, I hope you come because I want to be able to get everyone's, telling us that, movies suck or movies are good, whatever. I respect those opinions. I don't like to drown anybody out. It's the worst possible thing I could do. So,
yeah, don't drown other people out, but state your opinion. And if someone tries to talk over you, you talk over them.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm not that aggressive. I'm sorry. I guess you could consider me passive aggressive when it comes to that.
I like the name Disney Sheepherder. Free the sheep.
Disney Sheepherder.
Free the sheep.
What's up? Happy 4th to us all. Yeah.
Welcome, Disney Sheepherder, a mighty general in the war to save pop culture.
Hey, Disney Sheepherder.
And my avatar is perfect for you.
Yeah, I'm.
By the way, I've had time to research this. The bloodworm is a worm with a nasty attitude and a venomous bite, according to the Amazon's version of the digital assistant. So there are venomous worms. Poisonous is a tough term that people who want to be precise don't want to use because you could get bitten by a rattlesnake and live. So it's poison, yes, but venom more precisely.
Well, and you were just saying that, and I'm just going to refer to Jedi Bill here for a moment. I'm sure that he's aware of the Gila monster that lives out there in Arizona. And you're thinking that's just a simple lizard. Well, I wouldn't go anywhere near it because its bite would kill you instantly if you're in the middle of the desert and think it's just a lizard. It's not just a lizard. It's a venomous lizard.
Can I
and
just,
people aren't aware of that. So
you know,
yeah,
while we're on the topic of
And
weird
elf
animals,
will bite you and will not let go.
that's
did,
right.
Did anybody find the sequence of Indiana Jones and the diaphragm of density? Did anyone find eels? Why did it have to be eels? To be one of the stupidest fucking things in the world that just only.
Everything about that film is stupid, lame, lazy, and it's just a heap of shit.
I want to
Yep.
ask if anybody on this panel knows why Antonio Banderas was in that fucking movie.
Because they cut a
maybe-
We
check.
got
Cares?
this,
You
Cap.
didn't even
Cut a
barely
check.
notice him. He
Was he-
barely had 3 seconds on the film.
Do you think he was in the
Yeah, 10
original
minutes.
plot?
Shit.
Do you think he was in one of the original versions of the story that gets heavily scrapped, and they're just like, we gotta fill, we
Yeah,
gotta get this
probably.
movie's. If the movie's longer, it'll cost less per minute when we get criticized for it.
Hello,
Hey.
Piano Dean.
Hey,
Welcome.
Piano Dean.
Dane,
No, they had to fill
Wow,
some
do we have a
time.
spirited discussion going on?
I I understand why Antonio Banderas was in it. Yeah, he probably was there for 3 reasons. One, because Melanie Griffith is still demanding child support payments from him after all these years. Probably number 2 for a paycheck, and number 3 because actually I thought he bolstered the movie a little bit, even if he was there for like 10 minutes. So that's my reasons. But yeah,
So sort of like the way Anna de Armas appears in that Bond movie.
No
Can I just
Time to
say
Die, right,
The
yes.
way the icons are set up, I feel like it's appropriate that you're in the middle between everyone here who just had the worst time of their life at this movie. It's just like, you know, Mikey Sue's 4 in the Lion's Den versus like 5 evil. Well, I'm an istophobe now. I don't have my be a good person card because even though I saw the movie, I didn't like it, so I'm a bad person, right? And I guess I just have to live with that.
no, I'll admit I'm not a good person.
No, but I mean,
I am
even
very
worse.
upfront. I am a horrible, horrible, hateful, evil person.
Are we following each other on Twitter? I like the cut of your jib.
I have no
Hey,
idea.
Admiral Teague, I already know I'm going to hell, so I'm going big or going home. So
Exactly.
Gorilla, it's always a pleasure when I run across you in streams. You are a great and enjoyable broadcaster.
Yeah, I love his watch parties, especially. We had a spirited discussion about the Patriot yesterday. That
Oh
was-
yeah, PvP. He was getting more and more pissed off, but then he got the payoff he wanted.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's remember something. The Patriot wasn't directed by Mel Gibson. It was directed by the Independence Day guy, and it has
that'd be,
Independence Day. It has Independence Day DNA because I think it's his very next movie.
Well, yeah, it's Roland Emmerich, right? And
Oh, you forgot to say the great Roland Emmerich.
the great Roland Emmerich.
And
There's
Oh,
nothing
Hello,
good
Christian
about
fan
that
of me.
idiot.
Okay.
You know what? He could write us a better Obi-Wan
Well, he
story
owns
than we
the damn
got.
company, whatever.
If we made a Jedi Bill, serious proposition, without any irony, just think about this for a second before you respond. Honestly, Moonfall is a pretty dumb idea, but if it had been involving the Force on another planet and it was Star Wars Moonfall, maybe you would still think it was dumb, but don't you think people would be standing for it hard?
No.
It wouldn't raise the movie 1 star in the review because it
No.
had Star Wars in there?
That's another piece of shit.
It is, but I'm just thinking that Roland Emmerich is better than the Star Wars people, and he's just kind of a poor man's George Lucas on his best day.
You give Roland Emmerich a lot of credit because I give him none.
You don't like Stargate?
I'm not talking
Yvette,
about
I have to agree with
Well, I mean,
you
he's
what
the
you
Stargate
just said
guy.
about Dial of Destiny. At least
Anyway,
He did the
that's-
first
you're
film.
making probably more
yeah, he
sense than
originates
I
it,
am.
though, you know. Oh,
Yeah.
I realize that Roland Emmerich is kind of a joke, and I kind of use him as a straw man for how bad Disney is. Like, don't take this as an endorsement of Roland Emmerich's great. Aside from Independence Day and a movie here and a movie there, he's pretty average. But I love Independence Day, and who doesn't? Roland Emmerich on his best day is a poor man's George Lucas, and if you don't believe me, watch the first 5 minutes only
a
of
real
Independence
That's all
Day.
right.
fan.
Oh, I guess
Oh,
I gotta watch.
yeah.
I reject.
Whoa, guys.
Watch the open of Independence Day, the first one. Just watch the first 2 minutes and tell me it's not aesthetically the same as A New Hope. It's the same. It's the same. It's weird.
Oh, I guess I
Don't
have to
reject
watch it
any
first.
Reject any
Are you
alien
telling me you haven't seen
abduction.
Independence Day?
I played the 5th.
that doesn't.
Wait a minute,
Have
you've never seen
antivirus.
Independence Day?
Either that, I don't remember it.
Fair enough.
Dude, you're talking to a guy who just saw Beetlejuice, just saw all these movies that we're making him watch for the first time.
Well, this is
No, he
true.
most likely has not.
For all the shortcomings of Independence Day, at the end of that movie, we know more about those aliens than we ever find out about the First Order.
Yeah, well,
Independence
it's
Day was a
okay.
cash grab joke.
Yvette,
I
it's
don't-
fine because
It was a popcorn cruncher intended to please, but I mean, David Bowie also had songs that were just as blatantly looking to be loved and make money. I could still enjoy Let's Dance, but David Bowie didn't say, I have this great statement about dancing to make. He's like, I want to make some fucking money. Let's put some words that rhyme down here.
Oh man. Okay, so I don't think we've said hello yet to Christian Fandom Geek. We also have
Yeah.
John Randall and, of course, Darren Wagner.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say it
oh.
that way because
Yeah. Oh, I forgot when I came on to say Happy Independence to my American friends and to our British friends. Happy Treason Day from us ungrateful colonists.
Oh, and by the way, we just had Happy Canada Day. So to all fellow Canadians and to the Americans who decided to have their day 3 days later.
Hey, you guys are just copying us. That's all.
We've had
Don't
our
forget
day
I
since
was on that side at one
1776.
time. So
You guys came up with Canada Day after the British said, "Go away, we don't want you anymore."
well, we're just an evil stepchild. What do you expect from a country that basically the only thing to fear is fear itself? Oh my God! I'm telling you, You know what's so funny is, I told somebody, what was it, a few weeks ago, after King, whatever the frick his name is, became into power. I said, "You want me to say God save the king? I can't, in all common decency, even though I live in your stepchild of a country, a protectorate, say that. The only thing I really appreciate is saying God save the queen, and that's all I really appreciated. So
I think that all of you will be happier when you celebrate on the 4th of July after the Anschluss of Canada, where you become part of the United States.
We already told them no.
yeah,
If you
That's
guys
why
can
they're
just get your
independent.
if you Canadians can just pull yourselves up to a first world nation, we'll be happy to let you in. But you know what? As a fellow Cuban, it's good to see Justin Trudeau doing well.
yeah, whatever you consider doing well, Teague. Okay.
He's running
not
your
the
fucking
greatest
country,
one.
isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
dictator
because
right
only
now.
20% of the population has to be stupid instead of 50%.
Oh
Well-
no, we can do it like 35% if the right twists and turns happen. We're equally dumb. But don't worry, soon the 4th of July will not just be known as an American holiday, but a day where the Canadians put their hands over their hearts and salute the old red, white, and blue. You fucking snowbilly commies.
Oh, come on.
Love you all. I love you all. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not a
Oh.
snowbilly commie. I just immigrated here.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, now come on. I
I
just
have to see
immigrated.
pictures of
You're
you
by
not
proxy.
riding a snowmobile with a gun, looking for
I-
deer.
You know,
No,
why
no,
would I-
they're not looking for deer. They're looking for moose.
Moose.
Yeah, we're looking for
Caribou,
moose.
caribou.
Caribou.
You
Yes.
need something a little stronger than a little pitting
If
it.
Canada could just
9/11.
pull itself into the 21st century, a lot of people and solve their economic problems, a lot of people who have been thorns in my side would just have jobs.
Well, that would be easy if you get rid of your Cuban dictator.
Come on, he's Cuban. I mean, keep him on as a figurehead. Come on. Don't you want people? Look, Cubans run two of the countries in the North American area, right? They run Cuba, and they run Canada, and they run Florida, right? Because Marco Rubio is Cuban.
Oh, Mikey, you upset Yvette.
Ooh.
I did. Yeah, but I stand by what I said. I in all good conscience, I can't say it I'm sorry. I can't say God
No,
save
stick to
the
your
king.
guns and say how you feel. Oh well, God
I
save
am
the king
saying-
thing. I don't know what to make of that one.
Well, maybe in all fairness, we've been saying God Save the Queen for 70 years, so a little bit of a slip up.
So yeah, it's going to take a little while to get used to saying God bless Big Ears douchebag, but I mean you'll get used to it.
Oh,
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far with him, but
that's
I'm an American. Why shouldn't I? We kicked their ass twice. What is it going to do? Start a war with a third party that we have to bail them out of?
oh, hey, Gap.
We've done that
Bert,
too.
yeah, just a Gap. Bert is out of the hospital, but he's still not back to where he was. He might pop into a stream here and there, but he probably won't be streaming for a week or for another week or two, at least.
Bird of Prey 5, you have standing invitation to be on Saving Star Trek, and everyone should sub this great YouTube creator who's just an amazing Star Trek intellect. When people say Bird of Prey 5 knows more about Star Trek than me, I just simply say, well, yeah. Other news, water, wet.
Well, I'm sorry, Yvette, if I extremely offended you. Okay, I'm going to say that right now, but I am sticking by my my principles, and I just can't say it because I'm sorry. So, and I know what you mean.
And there's Bird of Prey
know what you meant
5's
when
link
you
in the
said it.
chat, everybody. If you want to sub to Bird of Prey 5, you'll get it. It's worth it. He's a lot of fun. He's present on Twitter doing word games. Captain Fandom Nerd is there sometimes. Captain, you know Bird of Prey 5. How much fun is
yeah.
he?
Oh, a lot of fun.
Oh,
It was funny. If you haven't caught his stream this morning, I hope somebody can get the link from that.
I
I
can
will
get for you
find
real
that.
quick.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get it.
Thank you, Gorilla. You
Yeah.
know what? I'm going to listen
Oh.
to it later, but I had time to like it because Bird of Prey 5 is a Star Trek voice that everyone needs to hear and have out there. He happens to have some hot takes. Like he thinks that DS9 was the best Star Trek show. I like him still.
Well, that's because it
And I-
was, but yeah,
I
He's
figure
allowed
out
to
why
have that
Yvette is
opinion.
offended by you saying God save
it's
the Queen.
opinionated fact. Yeah.
You're allowed to have that opinionated fact. I'm not going to argue it. People love Deep Space Nine. I'm a Star Trek pundit. I just happen to feel that it has too many bad. Well, how about this one? It's 51% bad, like 51% of the time, and there's a lot of episodes with no redemption. Like, how many times is the episode built around Nana Visitor is really hot in black leather, and we're going to ship her with Space Hitler Gul Dukat? So it just doesn't work a lot of the time.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, the
Subscribe
original
to Clobbering
DS9.
Times for Deep Space Nine updates.
Oh man,
The original DS9 was a million times better than actual DS9. You do know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I'm not going to
I got-
pretend I do. Please edify me.
Babylon 5 is
Babylon
basically
5
the
is a
original
better show.
Babylon
DS9.
5 is good,
And-
but not DS9 good.
It's a
No,
good
no,
show.
DS9
but-
only has the production, okay? But let me tell you something right now. There are scenes, there are speeches, there are lines, there are interactions between everything that matters that doesn't cost money is better in Babylon 5. The
Right,
production,
because
yeah,
we
DS9's
all
got
know-
it down pat.
Right, I agree. I would also say this: you get some better, more cohesive story in Babylon 5 most of the time. But Babylon 5, if there's something bad to be said about that show, and I don't want to say anything really bad about it because it's a good show and I'm looking forward to the cartoon, it's this. The stakes were always really, really, really high constantly. We never had like one person lost on a ship that we had to save. Or if we did, it just wasn't enough. And even our monsters of the week, someone like an Ironheart, he's like, I have now like so much power. I'm becoming one with time space. It's like, and we just have this OP V'ger creature up here. It's a good episode, but Ironheart has to go away and never come back because he's so powerful.
Yeah.
yeah, but Yvette,
but
they
he-
also kicked
and that
out
was
the
a big
Spanish
problem
and
every
Mexicans.
time.
Mexicans are different from Spanish.
I mean, even the relationship between the Cardassians and the Bajorans, that whole try to get you the feeling of them being enslaved and persecuted and whatever, doesn't even touch the Narns and Centaurans. Like
And
they
I-
went above and beyond to show you how
I
they
felt
were
the
treated.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you, LDG. You know what? I feel like the Bajorans were ingrates. They beat the fucking Cardassians, where was their sense of victory? They're like, oh, we got fucked with so bad. How about like we fucking won? You know, where was that in the Bajorans?
No,
It's like,
well, no.
whenever
Here's
they
the
dealt
thing
with
that wasn't in the
Cardassians,
Bajorans.
don't you think they should have been like, we beat the piss out of you again before, and we'll do it again? The only question is, how long do you want the war to last, Cardassian?
No, because it was the undertone was clear that the Bajorans all knew why the Cardassians left, and it had nothing to do with them.
Exactly. They never won.
It's
That's the thing.
unstated,
Like, how did
But
they
the
win?
Bajorans know
Because-
it wasn't what they did.
Or
They
how
know
about
it was
we've
all
never backed
Starfleet.
down from you before then? We've never backed down from you before. We're not backing down from you now. Fuck you. Fuck you, you Cardassian pig.
And that's what cracks me up. The Cardassians could have just came with a fleet of ships and bye-bye Bajorans, and no, they won. No, they didn't win.
Yeah, but
They
that's because they
purposely
need the
surrendered.
slave labor. They need the
Well,
slave labor.
They get a lot out of the conflict on Bajor and Deep Space Nine. It stands in for Vietnam. It stands in for the division of Israel and Palestine. It's a lot of things, and maybe too much. And I don't like that much magic in Star Trek. I'll watch Star Wars if I want to see people deal with magical wraiths, ghosts, wormhole aliens who are godlike or whatever it might be.
You know what, to be fair, I never considered, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, the original series, the animated series, everything of which I've seen, even TNG. I enjoyed them because I believe them to be pure series. Okay, and I know that there was undertones. DS9 had their political or warlike undertones, and Voyager had its, we're a lost ship and we're in the middle of a quadrant we know nothing about, nothing shit that we know. And then, and TNG was just following along after the original series had its moments and achievements and said, okay, Picard can be a different type of Kirk, and he can, none of that really,
Well, actually,
I
that was
knew it
more
going
Riker
in
that was being
when I watched
Kirk-like.
the series, enjoyment, and I'm a sci-fi geek. I love science fiction, and to me, war, politics, any undertones like that, bullshit. I enjoy what's out there, and I haven't seen anything better than Enterprise. Nothing. Like everything after Enterprise to me does not exist. Nothing.
Right.
Not even the movies. Not even J.J. Abrams crap.
All right, let me-
And there was
to-
even
to-
some
to-
good stuff in that too. So
to that point, and I would love to hear what everyone on here says. Does Generations have a writing device in the Nexus that is so strong and so unsolvable that we throw all future Star Trek into deep question? Because they're like, you're going to go into a dream within a dream that you can't leave, but you can leave. And if you do leave, you're still in there. So we have infinite re-uploads of Picard, Kirk, Guinan, and Soran, and others. Infinite re-uploads. And when they come out, they're just like when they left. We could theoretically have them back at any time. So, do we
I
break?
don't think that's how the Nexus worked.
Oh, it is
That's
though.
not how
I'm
they
sorry to
set it
say.
up.
I'm sorry to say that it is how
Because
it works.
it wasn't. They weren't left there. It's just an echo of what they were.
But the
Guinan
echo of
couldn't
you can be
leave.
hived off into a full-on you, as we saw when they took the echo of Kirk out
No.
into full-on
No,
Kirk.
that was Kirk actually in there, not an echo of Kirk.
Wait, but you
Guinan
can
couldn't
still
go with
re-upload
Picard
Kirk again.
because Guinan was already out.
But Kirk didn't leave the Nexus, and neither did Picard, because if you try to leave the Nexus makes you think you left the Nexus. She says that.
No.
Watch the scene where Guinan and Picard meet in the Nexus by the Christmas tree. That exposition is devastating. It's 5 very fast minutes, maybe even 3, but they do too much damage to their own narrative. They're like, in this dream, if you try to escape the dream, it just upgrades the dream so that you're in another dream. She says that. Then she
No,
says,
you have full control over it.
She doesn't say that. She says that there's a shadow of you there that stays and remains. Then we see that you can re-upload the shadow. No one says the shadow is destroyed when your life is ended outside the Nexus. And it wouldn't make sense that would happen. So we also, and all, just to be fair, we also hear that no ship can enter the Nexus. After what happens, a ship enters the Nexus to start the movie. So I think that Generations creates too strong of a plot device and says we are always an unreliable narrator now because Picard and Kirk, our point of view characters, have had their point of view hopelessly compromised by the most ultimate dream machine of all time. Anybody
think
want to address
you're-
that? Let's get thoughts.
I think you're going way too deep into it and making assumptions. The reason
Basing
that
it
Guinan
all off
didn't
dialogue.
No,
Well,
the dialogue said Guinan said she couldn't go with them because she was already there. So the echoes can't leave the Nexus. So there is no infinite re-uploads.
you know what?
Kirk's,
You know what? Okay.
Kirk's Echo leaves the Nexus. He's re-uploaded.
Okay. Let me explain something that I think probably
Okay.
applies here. What I want to say is that when you look at the Nexus in Generations, I believe, okay, this is like I said again, my opinion. I believe that the Nexus can be considered an early form of the multiverse, and the only reason that writers from Marvel and DC are trying to come up with some concept of a multiverse is some moron decided to sit there and watch the film Generations and sees the Nexus and goes, "Ooh, that's an idea. Let's start a multiverse of different worlds and different scenarios, and let's see how that works out." And of course, we know
They had
how
that decades
Generations
before.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that wasn't even close to being the first time, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Right.
they had Crisis over a decade before any of that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that for me, that's what I see it. That's the comparison, and I, well, even today, I mean, I own the film, so even today I have a difficulty saying, well, how hard is it to mess with an Nexus and then create different other worlds and things from it?
Seems
Because
about
here
as
we-
predictable as a thunderstorm, doesn't it? They know where it's going to be and when it's going to get there, but they fly into it anyway, don't they?
Of course they do. Yvette and Mikey, you're trying to become a legal Canadian. Yes, I am. So you wonder what the consulate would say about you refusing to say "God Save the King." Well, I haven't had a chance to go before a consulate yet because of this dumb pandemic, but that's just one excuse. I'm sorry. So you know,
will be disqualified.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
not allowed
would
to
be
swear
if I
on the
did.
Constitution. You've got to say that fucking shit.
I know.
Yep.
I'm building myself to say it. Okay, I have to build myself. to
Look,
say
I
it.
told
I can't
someone
just
I'd
come
love
right
them
out
till
and
I
say it.
died, and I haven't spoken to them in 15 years. So, like, just words don't mean a lot. Just say what you have to say.
Yeah, it's an anomaly. Oh, okay. Yvette calls it an anomaly. Well, then it's a pretty big
Oops, I
anomaly.
put that in the wrong chat stream. Sorry. But Resolute, much respect. I subbed your channel. I can't wait to hear more about what you have to say. I put the link into the private chat of Guinan talking to Picard, where she just shoots down
Yeah.
most of what you say pretty brutally. And I just
Not
want to
really.
say, it goes by really quick, but it's really poorly constructive and damaging dialogue.
I'm gonna have a real problem getting into
It's-
this
it will be
country,
something
aren't
to
I, if I don't say God save the
Consider.
King.
I haven't watched it myself. I'll have to at some point, but
But doesn't that say something right there about how good that movie is? Like, there's a Star
Now I
Trek
think
movie.
that if it's ultimately important that they want me to become a Canadian citizen, they feel it's obligated to say it.
Well, Americans don't consider royalty like the
Look,
word royalty commonwealth, so we have no other choice.
So what should I do? Should I just not even bother to become a Canadian and stay
No,
as?
just don't talk to people about politics. The king and queen are politics.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
whoops, had to mute Mikey. I think that's something that needs to be said privately, not publicly. Anyhow,
Sorry.
no problem.
At any rate, Resolute. I don't know. Why don't we talk more about this one after we both watch that segment again? Because I do think they put some rules on it that might kneecap future believability. And I'm not the originator of that fan theory either.
Yeah, I've seen the theory out there for quite a while. It's not the best thought out.
You know what the thing is? The more we try to disprove it, the more we can't. There's only one.
No, it's completely disprovable.
It's hit.
The way I explained it, it's completely disproven.
The only thing that might prove it is one episode of Enterprise that I have to watch.
Oh man. Give me just one moment.
No problem, Captain Fandom Nerd, and thanks for having us. It's an interesting and wide-ranging conversation today, huh?
Well, I think that we're all blessed that that people that fought for each of our countries have been able to give us the allow us to be able to discuss things like subjects like these freely and without under any restriction or any denials, anything.
Unless the eye of YouTube comes by, then we're all in trouble.
Oh Lord!
It's
I hope
funny.
I didn't miss something.
I'm scanning the Star Trek Generations script, and it's even worse than I remember this movie. I hated that movie.
I actually liked it.
The
For
first half's
other
okay.
reasons.
The
For other
first half's
reasons.
okay.
Episode.
It's good
It's
until
a
they
two-part
kill.
episode of the series. As
Agree.
a movie, I don't see the point.
Agree 1,000 times over. See, we have common ground here.
Well, Gorillas, the next one you're going to do is Glory, right? About the Civil War. And I can say something quick about that. I'm not a big Matthew Broderick fan. I really did like it because of the fact that Morgan Freeman, it's probably one of his better performances. So I can't wait for that on Sunday when we do that movie. That's going to be good. I like Glory for a lot of reasons.
Well, I do want to thank everybody for coming today. It's been good to have everybody here.
Thanks, Cap. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, Captain, you're
yeah,
awesome.
Wrap things up here. Mikey, go ahead and say when you have your stream next, please.
Yes, tomorrow night on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing my very first movie stream review, which is going to cover The Flash and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, or whatever else you want to call it, depending on your opinions, which
Right.
they do matter. Every opinion matters. So I hope that everyone can come. And I want to also quickly thank Gorilla and Resolute Germ for allowing me to take that time that they normally do their stream and allow it to be mine on that night. It's going to be 4 hours long. And by the way, I heard that I'm going up against Doomcock. Well, all I can say to Doomcock is I'm sorry that my stream's going to run into yours, but bring it on, dude. Well, we'll see how much fun each of us has.
Wait.
I think that's
4 hours?
There's
Yeah,
plenty of
4
room.
hours. Yeah, 4 hours.
That's gonna
That's
be
okay. That's still half a Doomcocks. So
Yeah,
you're beating
Yeah.
them on time.
but
Yeah, we'll
You're
beat 'em on
going
time.
8 hours, 10 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
that's good.
Anyhow.
I can promise you too, Mikey. I can promise you too.
That's fine. And I would like you guys, if you don't mind, to also put up Pop's, so we can help him out still. When we
Yeah,
first start out.
I'll have it for you.
Okay.
I think
fantastic.
the only advice I'd give you is in the future, like your subscribers and Doomcocks heavily overlap. So whether or not you think it's a good time, you've got people who are sort of pre-committed to an iconic YouTube show. You might not have anyone in your chat. I mean, I would move it a day just for my own success. I mean, unless there's something keeping it from being on another day, like why do that?
Well, Teague. Okay, it's just like you said. Doomcock has a lot of subscribers. I have a total
But
of
they're your
89.
but they have
Yes.
but they're your subscribers too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, but I
Doesn't
mean,
matter.
I have 89 people. All I need is 11 more, and I'll be happy. Plus, my channel's not monetized. Is Doomcock's channel monetized? I don't know.
I don't think
But
we
if
should
it is,
compare
Wazoo.
ourselves to other YouTubers. I'm
Oh,
just saying for
no.
your best
I'm not.
success, for
Yeah,
your
I'm
best
not.
for your best success, considering where you do a lot of your work, I would say you have a lot of Doomcock subs, and the success of your live broadcast. You know, you're setting a precedent for future algorithmic choices by YouTube. Think it over. You know, I'm not telling you how
don't-
to run your
You don't
channel.
consider the algorithm. If you
Yeah.
tried to stay away from Doomcock and Nerdrotic and all the big guys, there's not an hour left in the day.
I'll go up against Nerdrotic because I don't care that much about what he has to say, and my show's much different from his. If most of your subs come from Nerdrotic, you wouldn't want to go up against Nerdrotic live because you would
Okay.
not have
Well,
anybody
But they,
listening to
I
you.
put it
it's
out
the
there.
same problem with
Yeah, I put
Doomcock,
it
though.
out.
They still
Okay,
have
so
a whole hell
thank
of a
you.
lot of crossover.
You're welcome.
As true as it is, I think you know it's just advice. Nobody has to run their channel the way I run mine. You know, don't take it the wrong way.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Now,
want Mikey's
I don't.
upload
Not
to.
at
I want
all.
Mikey's stream to prosper.
I do too, and I hope that things go well. Gorilla, when do you stream next?
Well, I won't be streaming
Again. Yeah.
Black Beer on Wednesday, but we should be having Walton's review of season 2, episode 2 on Friday. There, Babylon 5 on should have Babylon 5 on Saturday. Then on Sunday, we are our second movie in our American Wars month. We'll be watching Glory. So there's that, and So, and I got a bunch of shorts coming out. I am 8 subscribers away from 500 if you there. So, but hey, maybe my shorts will give you a laugh or make you go cool. So there's that.
And Resolute Germ, when are you going live again?
Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, we'll be watching Phantom 2040.
Awesome. And Admiral Teague, when are you going live again?
I don't know. When do you have time? I am next probably going live on Thursday, probably around drive time, East Coast U.S. time, say 4 o'clock, -4 GMT, 3 o'clock by you in Central, to follow the one watch through I'm going to do for Strange New Worlds, because the last couple of episodes have been so bad that it's a little bit broken me, and now I'm realizing that there's not much use in analyzing this, because to do anything in their complicated and messed up New Trek world, they have to go into another dimension, into a dream, and then time travel. Then the story happens so that it can unhappen at the end, and we're left with no implications. So, like, all I really have to do is, like, I write down a bullet point. Like, week 1 was drugs are good. Week 2 was just lie. Week 3 was stealing is cool. I mean, that's all there's been in these episodes. So I think on Fridays from now on, we're going to just quickly recap what happened on Strange New Worlds, and we're going to watch Voyager and Orville.
Cool. Sounds good.
Please join us.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And again, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you all. Have a great day, and see you all soon.
And subscribe to Bird of Prey 5.
Yes, subscribe to Bird